Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate you for joining me. Let me turn my volume up just a tad bit here. All right, so I appreciate you for joining me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we get going, let me ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. Forgive me, I forgot my glasses today. So we're gonna attempt to read anyway. I think we're gonna be all right. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna dive in. So I made a video that I dropped a couple days ago now, just talking about Black people, criticizing other Black people for, nobody's voted yet, but Black people are honestly critiquing the Vice President, Kamala Harris. I believe I said that right. If I don't, my wife's gonna correct me later. That's okay. And just the critique that, why is it that we're supposed to be voting for her when, quite frankly, I think there's a lot of people, there's at least people in the Black community that have questions about, where she's been, right? Because again, as I said in my previous video, when she ran for the nomination in 2019, they didn't want her. Black people didn't want her. White people didn't want her. Nobody wanted her. Ultimately, Joe Biden, of course, chose her to be vice president. And then the Democratic Party was finally honest with everybody and admitted Joe Biden was not mentally prepared to do another 4 years. And then now she's been vice president, so they propped her up, ultimately because she was the best strategy. If they tried to put somebody else in there, they'd have to regroup, re-campaign, raise different monies. If they throw Harris, they could easily transfer everything they raised for Biden right on over to Harris. And the train kept going. But there's a legitimate question. And so someone raised the question to me. They said, number one, I was butthurt. I don't know what I was butthurt by, because what has Harris done to me? Nothing. She's done nothing to me. That's part of my questioning, like, who is this woman? But and then they said to me, well, you should go and check out her website, because I said to them, I said, well, I don't even know who she is or what she represents. And so they said, well, you should go check her out her website and find out. And so I said to myself, I've heard about her website not basically having any information on it. And so I said to myself, you know what? I hadn't necessarily visited because I was listening to other people. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go visit it and I'm going to see what it's about. And so here it is. You can see it to my left, right? I'm not sure where it's going to pop up when this video drops, but this is the main page you get to when you go to her campaign website. The first thing you see is Harris walks and give me that money. So first thing you see is the campaign donation. So we're going to close out because we're not donating to the campaign. And then we see here, we got a page that acts, that allows you to meet Kamala Harris. And so I went here. I'm not going to read it to you guys word for word, but the gist of it is they give you background on who she is, what she's done, what she did as a part of the Biden campaign, Biden presidency for 4 years. They mentioned a couple of things she's done again as vice president, right? She has traveled the world as vice president, speak on behalf of the government. They mentioned, some highlights of what she did in the Senate, highlights of what she did as the Attorney General, highlights of what she did in the prosecutor's office. And then, of course, they end with telling us about her family. Okay. Like I said in my last video, who is this woman? What does she represent? What are the policies that she's going to put forth to, as she tells us now in her campaign speeches, that are going to uplift the middle class? What are these policies that are going to uplift the middle class? So then they have a similar thing for Tim Walz. Then they tell us to take action. So we can go and take action, sign up to take action if we want. And then from there, the only other thing here is the events that she's going to be at, the store, if you want to buy something and donate. So here we have a candidate who's running for president and ultimately, at least up until this point, refuses to tell us what she believes. What are the policies she's going to put forth? What is she advocating for Congress to do for the American people? And I'm crazy because I'm looking at this and going, so I'm supposed to forget all that and just vote for her because her skin is dark like mine? I'm supposed to not care that she's not put forth a plan to quote unquote help the middle class. For a lot of black people, the question that they ask, they say, what is this candidate going to do for the black community? She hasn't stated any of these policies. But we're supposed to vote for her because she's black. Then I said, you know what? Maybe that's what Donald Trump did too. Because if she's doing that, right? I mean, like, as I keep saying, these both parties are ultimately doing the same thing. So let me go to Donald Trump's website. Is that what he did? So I go to his website, and then we see a quote, obviously right here. But when we go across his tabs, look at here. The first tab gives us a platform. It even links us to a official 2024 Republican Party platform that we can click on the link to. And then it gives us 20 core promises that he's going to make to make America great again. And so here's my thing. I'm not here to tell you that MAGA is great. MAGA is whatever it is. And apparently it's a lot of things to a lot of different people when you talk to them sometimes. But you know what he has here? He has a vision for what he believes in. Now, I'm not telling you you're supposed to believe in this. I'm not even asking you to do that. But as a candidate running for president, this at least should be the least thing that you could expect them to do, is put on their campaign website what they believe in. Otherwise, what am I voting for? I'm voting for the color of your skin. I'm voting for the history of the country. Well, not the country. Yeah, the history that it might bring to the country. What does history have anything to do with making my life better? With making the country better? So you become the first black female president. Okay. What if the policies you put forth, I disagree with all of them? I'm supposed to ignore that just because you were the first black female president? What is this? What is this planet that we live on now that it's more important to argue against against the candidate than to put forth what you believe in? Because it seems to me that the way this is going, this is going to be the Democratic platform. We'll let one candidate put out here some platitudes that he believes in. We'll let him talk, and we'll tell you on the other side, Kamala Harris, we'll let Donald Trump talk, and we'll just talk about how much we disagree with him. We'll just talk about how much of a felon he is, how much of a womanizer he is. And that'll be our game strategy, to paint me as the moral high ground to him. And so because I represent the moral high ground, Kamala Harris, you should be voting for me. What do you believe in? Don't worry about that. That's irrelevant. I represent the moral high ground. Vote for me. What do you think about the border? Don't worry about that. Didn't you let all those people in the border because you were the border czar? Don't worry about that. I am the moral high ground to that guy. I'm sorry. We live in a time where disseminating information is really easy. It would be nothing. It would take them less than an hour, I'd imagine, to do the basics of what Donald Trump did here. List 20 ideas that he believes in. 20 ideas that he promises to do if he becomes president. You telling me that the machine behind the Democrat Party can't come up with 20 ideas that they believe in if she becomes president? You telling me that they don't respect us enough to think that that's the least they can do? To me, that's an insult. To run on the idea that I'm not him, that's an insult. We got it. We know you're not him. Quite frankly, I agree with you. You might have a little bit of a moral high ground. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if some of the history of the stories they're telling about you, if some of those stories are true, I don't necessarily think you do. But let's say those are the past and this is not who you, and you haven't been that person in a long time. Fine. Cool. What does that have to do with the policies you support as a president that I'm supposed to back? I'm so frustrated right now with this whole political cycle. I got one candidate who doesn't want to tell me what she believes. I got another candidate who is, I don't even know how to describe this guy. Who's off the cuff, but at least will give you his real opinions. And if I don't respect anything else about him, I respect the fact that he's going to tell me his real opinion. But then I got this candidate over here who supposedly represents me because both of our skins are dark. But I have no idea what she plans to do as the president of the country. But yet, everybody I know, every time I look around, every black person I talk to tell me I'm supposed to vote for this woman. Because she's black. As I said in my last video, I'm not doing it. Kamala Harris wants to earn my vote. Kamala Harris is going to have to do the exact same thing Donald Trump would have to do to earn my vote. She's got to put forth an agenda to let me know what she plans to do, what her policies are that she would support as president. Quite frankly, if she can't put forth a policy agenda, she ain't serious. And anybody who votes for someone who won't put forth a policy agenda, who will only tell you they're better than the next guy, morally, as a platform, as I said in my last video, they setting you up for the okie doke. Because she believes in something. When she gets in office, she's going to advocate for something. So the least she could do is tell us what it is before we go to the office in November. And if she can't, she's not getting my vote. She won't even get a consideration of my vote based on the fact she doesn't have the respect enough to tell me what she believes. And on that note, I'm out.